World of YouTube, Tableside here, going over another case, and I believe I did this before it came out on Unsolved Worcester, but there's a little bit more detail. I think I went over this, and there might have not have been much detail, but getting the detail out of this, it's of course very shocking, and then it ain't. Of course, this woman was 58 years old when she went missing in Worcester, Mass. I have to do a mapping because it is a big to-do thing on this case. So this is the woman I went over, and she had on December 23rd, 1982, was supposed to be picked up by her daughter. And when her daughter arrived, she wasn't there. She also lived with her son and her son's son. So, grandchild, whatever. They came home the night of her disappearance, thought she went to bed. When they woke up the next morning, thought she had left for work. But on that night, she spoke 15 minutes to a friend that she worked at a church charity place. And just give you a brief update. Said she wasn't going to be into work. She had to help her daughter with stuff for Christmas preparation, so forth. I don't even know if I mentioned this in the last one, but I believe, and if I did, I did, but I just want to go over this again, and like I said, there's going to be some mapping. Because not only do we have a boyfriend that was there until 9 p.m., this woman left the house with a nightgown, overcoat, tan overcoat, and supposedly, they didn't even know if she had shoes, but her medication was there because she had high blood pressure. And all the important stuff was left behind. And there was jewelry missing from this house. So, I mean, if I didn't mention this in the other videos, because, right, there wasn't that much info, but if I did, I did. But I probably have to go back and see what I covered on that. But it is interesting, though, of course, that the boyfriend did not take a lie detector test due to his health reasons. Died in 1987. One thing, I did make a comment on this video about dogs searching the area. For one, they did bring a dog from Gardner Corrections. I guess they have guard dogs out there that could sniff inmates in case they escape. My main question was, did this dog, follow the scent? If she did, and there's most likely she had to have left the house. Unless she was murdered and put somewhere in that house. But that is another question I should have asked. I wasn't even thinking of that. Because if the scent's there and it don't scent nothing outside, unless it scents, being put in a car. Neighbors did see a car, the boyfriend's car, there up till 9 p.m. He said he only stayed there till, I think, 8 p.m. or something like that, or 7:30. The neighbors said it was there till 9. And, I just wanted to know, the very important question is, if she did leave that house, where did the scent go? Even though, it would be, obviously this woman didn't drive. But, whatever the case may be, that is the big question I'd like to know. And then the family dog states that the dog found dentures, bloody dentures. So obviously this woman probably got popped in the mouth for trying to scream for help. and they got knocked out of her mouth. So I said in the comment to this unsolved whistle, would be probably one of my first comments to these people, is did that family dog ever go back to the place of finding the dentures and start acting bizarre? You know, some dogs, right, when they, find where their master is, let alone not coming home, that last place, that dog should, and as you can see, grabbing the dentures, bringing it back to the house. And I'm assuming they didn't explain if it was outside or if he found them inside. They didn't explain that. But it's only obvious that a dog, if they found dentures and no owner, I would assume and I would think and I would put money on this, that dog would start going back to that place, being a family dog, and like maybe sit and wait until on command to get in the house. Or if it was in the house, what are you doing, asking questions? Was it ever acting bizarre and did family members ever notice it? Because in a missing person case, and as you can see, these are the things I would come out with. Other than just the basics of the case, see how you got to expand your mind, give more thoughts, theories, and ideas. You just can't, be on record with what's on record and agree with it and be okay with it. I mean, they had private investigators hired. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure they did everything they could. But there's always that one thing that could be possibly missed by law enforcement or any private detective. And it doesn't sound like it was even mentioned in here like what I just said to me, let alone the reports of the police. And of course you got to remember that, we're not going to give all the information out because we don't want to ruin the case, but obviously the boyfriend, had something to do with it, because why they did, and there was a recorded argument, disagreement, something that must have ticked this man off and so forth, took that woman out of her home and said, that's it, I'm going to kill you. So, with that being said, and plus, someone had to have taken this woman out of this house, because just to be in a robe and in a coat, damn well that was thrown on very quick. And finding dentures on the ground, the only way dentures are going to fall out of your friggin' mouth is if you're, and perfect, I always have a story for something, boy, and here's a perfect example. My grandmother used to live at our house on Devlin Passway there in Fitchburg. She used to tell me stories about my grandfather. And every time she talked, her top dentures would fall out. Now, whether or not she glued them in properly or just didn't like to glue them in, every time she tell a story, try not to laugh, but she over there goes, and then she puts them back up, finish the story, and when she get excited or hyped up to say, oh, they did this, and it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? But I'm for sure this woman had that being in 1982. And my grandmother was telling me stories back in 1995 when she moved in up until about, 96. When things went sour, that's a whole nother story. But she ended up leaving, going to live with my father's sister, my aunt. But, and just to think what this woman's dentures, right, in blood on them. There's only one thing that could have happened there, is that she got popped right in the mouth. Pow! Shut up. Trying to scream, being rustled out of the house. Even if it was out of the house. And like I said, here's where they don't give description, as if the dog found it in the house or came in from outside in the house. Therefore, right, where was it? These are the things that family members should have been thinking. Ooh, where did he find them? I would have been following that dog after that. to watch its patterns. If it would have went and found, back to the denture site. But these are just things now that are long overdue. 40 years in the making of this woman being missing. The lakes were lakes were searched. The woods surrounding the area was searched. But then again, was there anybody ever looked for maybe a shallow grave? That was never mentioned. They just searched with the dogs. Yeah, of course, if there was a shallow grave, well, then of course there would be a scent. But nothing was found, so I believe that this woman was put in a car and taken and put somewhere else. So that being said, and the boyfriend now dead, if the body ever does happen to get, found, well, of course, hopefully they saved DNA from the boyfriend. Is anybody going to refuse a lie detector test? Or medical reasons, all right. That's goddamn suspicion right there. And anyways, the argument, the last one to see her, blah, blah, blah. That's right. This is insane. So I'm sure it's just going to stay unsolved, and who knows one day if they'll ever do keep a search or open the case back up or what. But that's another thing. If everybody saw this car sitting in front of the house, did they ever see the guy coming out with anybody? But then again, the way the dentures fall out, it had to have happened quick. And I gotta assume that this guy also maybe punched her and knocked her out cold. That's right. So, blood trails or scent trails weren't mentioned. The dog never followed again to see if it would go back to this place where it found the dentures. Let alone, sometimes if the dog is trained well enough, oh, where'd you get this? Where'd you get it, boy? I don't know if they are advanced like that, but yeah, it's just nuts. Insane to think that this case, right, will it ever be solved? But this is the medicine she had to take daily, was still in the bathroom. She took pills for her heart, high blood pressure. This goes on. Frank Chase, a child of Miss Kerswell's first marriage, on Monday found his mother's bloody stained dentures on the floor of the living room. Since the dentures hadn't been found earlier, as they searched the house, family speculated that the family dog must have found them somewhere and dropped them on the floor. Right. So, whether or not she left the house abruptly by force, or who knows if she got knocked out in the house and they could have fell, under something or near something where they didn't see him, whatever the case may be. That's the reason why there probably wasn't no search outside of, any luck finding scent. But still, I'd like to know if the cadaver dog did, because that dog, the body had to have been drawn out of there at some point in time. So with that being said, I'm gonna do a mapping of this, and because there is, like I said, a wooded area, and I need to do a mapping on this just to get the view of it. But it will explain a lot more of why and how this person got away with it. Meaning, I would speculate and put money on it, the boyfriend. So, and it doesn't even say if the the family members, if they wanted this lie detector test done, but where he refused it, you would have think the cops would have just kept pressuring him. You know how cops do it. they do it to the wrong people. Why didn't they keep pressuring this guy? And that's something to think about. These people that admit the crimes that they didn't do because they're peer pressured by the police. The rotten cops that just sit there and slam it. You did it. And these people just think, oh, I did it. And then they confess. Why didn't they do this to this guy? You don't want to take a lie of this? You pressure that son of a bitch. But of course they didn't do it. Now the guy's dead. And that's just sad to see and say. Because I would, if I was in officer, I would have pressured this guy. And that's it. Nothing more said. Why didn't they do that? They've done it to innocent people. People have gone to jail for many, many years until they're proven innocent. And then they get out and it's like, oh, we're sorry. And they got a settlement and a lawsuit. But that don't, oh my God, that don't even give back the time lost that you sat in that jail cell because you were pressured. Why wasn't this guy pressured is beyond me. But till that next video, coming soon, mapping of this. But yeah, that's my thoughts, theories. That's all that's here on this channel. I want to thank everybody who's still joining, still coming along. I tell you, you'll never be dissatisfied on this channel, Terrible Sight. More videos to come. Once again, thank you all for joining. Don't know how much it means to me. And yes, this will be an intense ride. You'll never know what you'll get. Till the next video, folks. Be safe, take care. Out.